The launch allows you to take the coding off the old one and apply it to the new unit, and you can do that with quite a lot of the modules. It's a clever little thing for the price of what this is, and the more I play with it, the more I find out actually what it can do. Fine, if I press the lock button on my launch, I can't open that, it's locked. Here it's got all the individual components. You got your luggage compartment separation close to it, so that's going to be the stowages at the back behind the seat.
Let's move on, 'cause it's time to move on.
So yesterday, whilst using this lovely little Launch Elite Creader, I cleared a whole load of faults, and I noticed for the first time that my seat started to inflate. So ever since I bought this car, the seats have never inflate. There's a lumbar support here, which has got a bladder inside it, and you control it from this little dial, and you have about 5 settings. So this all came to life, and it started to inflate, which is great because it tells me that the actual bag inside is good. There's a little pipe right underneath the base of the seat, which I managed to fix. There's also one obviously on the driver's side as well. That's the one I'm really interested in. So I'm going to use my launch and see if there's a way of resetting the PSU, which does your central locking, it does the stowages at the back, it even does your glove box at the front as well. So let's go into the menu and see what it says. So the key's in the ignition, power's on. Let's find the PSU. Actually, one of the nice things about this little launch compared to my iCar Soft, which is very similar in size and capability, is that this is obviously touchscreen. Pneumatic system equipment, so it's a PSU pump, but let's go into that one. Switch ignition on, which it is. And module information, let's just read that first. So it tells me the part number, tells me manufacturer, and it tells me the software status, etc. as well. So look, hardware status made in 2002, and the software status was in the, looks like it was in 2006. So let's go into reading fault codes, because there shouldn't be any. So there's no fault codes found, but as I'm talking, I can hear the pump in the back doing its thing. So let's go back, and I want to go into this. First of all, go to special functions, and there's a whole host of things it can do here. So reading from the top there, internal circuit of the central locking system. You've got your automatic relocking after 40 seconds, which is something that is just a safety feature if you haven't actually opened the door. Power locking, selective opening for driver's door. There's quite a lot of information there, but let's go back one step. Let's go into initial startup. Here we go. So this was talking about whether you've got a new PSU pump. The first option there, initial startup with automatic takeover of settings of the previous control unit. And then initial startup with a manual setting for input for new control unit. For example, the previous control unit can no longer be read. So if you've got an issue. So yeah, which one do I choose? So let's go into the first one and see. And it gives you a guide here. Following procedure will guide you through all steps required to perform a complete initial startup of your System A37 PSE control module combined. Preconditions: the old control unit is still installed, which it is. The new control module must be available. Well, I haven't got that. You'll be guided through the following steps. Read coding and transfer to new control unit. Start process with the button. Okay, well, let's press it and see. I haven't got a new unit, but I just want to see what the next step is. Coding has been read. So switch off ignition. Okay, press OK. Replace the old control unit with the new one. Let's pretend we've done that. Switch on ignition. Is the coding to be transferred to the new control unit? Why not press yes? The coding has been carried out. Okay. Initial startup was fully completed. Okay. Right. So that's it done now. So that would be, just as I said, if I had an old unit and a new unit and I was just replacing it. Maybe I got one from a breaker's yard. The launch allows you to take the coding off the old one and apply it to the new unit, and you can do that with quite a lot of the modules. It's a clever little thing for the price of what this is, and the more I play with it, the more I find out actually what it can do. Right, so I'm going to go to system selection because I wanted to run a PSU activation, but whenever I go into it, it doesn't actually give me the option for the backrest. It just says it's not plausible or it's not valid. So I'll show you. So setting the switch to OK. And it's pretty comprehensive, this list here, as much as my Autel Maxicom, by the way. Let's go into actuation test. And this is where I was hoping that it would give me a list to do the lumbar support in the seat, but there's nothing there on that sense. But there's nothing really there apart from undoing the trunk, opening and closing the central locking, which I can do, I'll show you. So F3, so this is the lock and unlock. So I press F3, you'll hear the locking. Press F4, you'll hear it unlock. Now, also when I'm doing that, I can feel that the lock in my glove box is also doing its thing as well. So let's open the glove box and let's see if we can pretend it's closed. And then I'm going to press the lock and unlock and see if you can see something. Press unlock. Well, you can't see it, but I can definitely hear it. So I know that that's doing its thing. So the locking and unlocking is all good. That's also the same for my stowage compartment. So I should be able to open that now. Fine, if I press the lock button on my launch, I can't open that, it's locked. So that's doing its thing. So let's press off F4 to unlock. And now I can open. So that's dead handy just to be able to test the central locking. But the menu I found which gave me a little bit more information, certainly more than the iCarSoft, is if you go into reading data stream, you've got trunk lid and CL signaling sources, which I am surmising a little bit, but I believe it's the central locking signaling sources. So if you go into that there, look at this, you've got all these options here, and these are all the modules which the central locking then will talk back to, I believe, to the ECU for the PSE, for the pneumatics. So you can select one and then go into it and it will tell you what it is. In this instance, the CL signal source number 10 is the EIS vehicle speed signal automatic lock. So the control unit that will tell the car to lock either at a certain speed or also after a certain time period. If you haven't locked the car, maybe that's also what that is. I think about 40 seconds the car will lock again if you haven't opened the door. So if I go back and I select all and press OK, now it's given me a list of all of what those items are. So next one down, source 11, it says unknown status. But if I go into that, it doesn't actually allow me to, unfortunately. I can hear the pump as I speak actually. PSE remote trunk lid release with trunk lid push button. So that is signal source number 12. And then you got the PSE condenser vent in the power locking system. SAM rear unlocked through front door contact. This all could be to do with the keyless go system. Trunk lid, just quickly go into that. Here it's got all the individual components for anything to relate to the trunk. So you got your luggage compartment, separation, close width. So that's going to be the stowages at the back behind the seats, I would think. Trunk lid emergency opening switch. And if you've got problems with your PSU at the back, there's an excellent little masterclass on things to check. You'll probably find it's got a leak. They've got a habit of doing that. Locking pull rotary tumbler switch. That's got to be in the actual trunk boot itself. And then the trunk lid exterior operation switch. So you can see, compared to my iCarSoft, there is an awful lot of functions there. You've got pressure supply for the multi-console backrest, central locking, automatic relocking after 40 seconds, power locking. So it's pretty comprehensive, isn't it? That's a great question. The name of the person that asked me at my subscribers just come up on the screen, and you know, hopefully this little video is giving you an idea, if you're thinking about buying one of these, just how much more in depth it can go compared to my iCarSoft, which I'm still a big fan of, and I've just done a little like-for-like comparison on this one as well. So there's a video coming up and the links below. The important thing to know though about this launch is that it's bi-directional. And there's that menu that I went into where it's talking about all the different items that are linked with the PSE pump. That's something that this one doesn't give me. So for the money that this costs, it's proving itself each time that I use it. It really is. And if you want to know anything else, perhaps you're looking at buying one of these, let me know if there's a particular function that you want, and I'll do my very best to do a little video for you. I appreciate you getting to the end of this video, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one.